Ladies and gentlemen, you are now listening to the Talking Nonsense About Impact Wrestling podcast. Cross the line in 3, 2, 1.
What is good, my Impact Wrestling fam? Welcome to episode 142 of the Talking Nonsense About Impact Wrestling podcast. My name is Geoff, and alongside me again is the Trey Miguel to my Zachary Wentz, the Moose to my Brian Myers. He is the courtesy of Bert. He is the DNA of LOLtreeNA. It's a good line. It's Lucha, everybody. What's going on, buddy?
Woo! Yeah. What up? What up? What up?
What's going on, man?
Shit.
Traveling.
Yeah, just came back from kicking it with the fam up in Ahoskie for 4th of July festivities. I forgot that I'm a 31-year-old male because I'm out here doing tug of war,
Dragon ass.
Limbo. They had like a whole like water tunnel that we could run and jump and slide in and stuff. It was all fun, and I'm just in that bitch.
And now you're paying for it?
I'm paying for it.
It's like the night after a Mick Foley match. You're ice bagged up, my friend. Man, so we got a lot to catch up on. Well, welcome back. You're always on the channel. I haven't been on for a hot second. Hey, what's up, Millard?
Who's this guy?
What's up, guy? Yeah, we're just gonna shoot the shit. We got a lot to catch up on, but it's been a bit since I've been on here between travel and health and other projects, but I'm happy to be here, man, talking to you. Obviously, we keep in touch, but to talk about Impact in depth through word compared to text will be nice, and then to see what they have to say if the chat lights up. Hopefully you guys do. Make sure you like, subscribe, and make sure you check out Lucha on Tuesdays for Go-Go Power Rankings with the aforementioned Bert and Datala every Tuesday. And then Wednesday, the return. We're bringing the Athena Cup, though. So we're crowning our Knockouts champion on TNA 2K this Wednesday. It's a battle of 1s and 8s?
We got 1s and 8s and 3s and 6s.
Right. Cool. So yeah, we'll knock that out, and then we'll let you guys decide what we do after that. Tag, X, DMC. I don't know. We'll crown them all.
I mean, we still got the option of doing the mixed tag tournament, the homecoming.
Right. We got a lot to play with before we give our storylines to the new creative of Impact to Steel. But yeah, man, guys, thank you for rocking with us and keeping with the channel, even though we're in and out. Obviously, Go Power Rankings every week. But you can catch us July 16th as well for a Slammiversary review, live again right here. Critical Sting, ATL Ho in the chat. IO in the building as well. Hey, the whole fam's together. Let's go. This is going to be a good time, guys. First, we're going to hit up Impact on AXS TV. A lot to talk about there. You were at these tapings, so we'll try not to give too much away, but I'm still going to want your insight, obviously. And then we'll get to a few topics. Moose, the creative switch-up with Delirious and Jimmy Jacobs, and what that's really like. Or, well, like we know, but you know what I mean, what that's about. Australia, and kind of glance over that. I don't know if all the people watching this got a chance to watch it. I know we didn't. But some good vibes coming from that, besides for an unfortunate injury we'll talk about. And then Slammiversary so far we'll touch on the end. Because we gave our predictions of what could have been. Some of that lining up to happen, but I think about 4 or 5 matches still to be announced that I think we could talk about or predict. So let's get right into Impact on AXS TV. Starting with, do you catch BTI?
Nah, I didn't catch it, but I mean, I was there for it, so it was Swinger and fucking
Boopy.
Yeah, Boopy.
Yeah,
Sheik freaking Rollins.
Picking up a lot of L's, man. I like that his diary came out. And even Tommy touched on about how they didn't give him the stereotypical gimmick when he came in, which is something we preached for a while. But picking up those L's, and looks like Cash needs to start buying some friends here. I think Boopy, and it's time for I was gonna say Jinder. Holy shit. I was trying not to say
already.
Raj. I kept saying and Champagne Sing. There we go.
It's
and
the
Shira.
Raj. Do you smell what the Raj is cooking?
And they've kind of had some in and outs, especially with the Maclin thing. So maybe it's time to put that facet or that group together, that faction together. But Swinger temporarily picking up the victory here. Some shenanigans with Dice, obviously. And we'll rectify that later in the show. Not much to talk about there. But we are going to move into the match that started the card. I don't know where this placed when you watched it. That's always a fascinating thing I always found. When you go to the live shows and then you go back and watch it and you're like, oh, were we hyped enough for this to be the opening match? You know what I mean? But I thought it was a damn good outing. It's a damned if you do, damned if you don't. It gets interrupted. But Wentz, finally, the return of the Rascals. Zachary Wentz is back and he's angry. We'll get to that promo. But your thoughts live, because obviously this is just raw and live for you, right?
I don't know if this was the first match they started night one off with, but it was for sure one of the first matches.
Nice.
Actually, by the time we got there, the match was already going because traffic was a little bit backed up. So by the time we actually got there, the match was already like halfway through. And then when we got there, there's someone sitting in our seats. So we're dealing with the guy trying to, get our seat situated. And as I'm sitting here talking to the dude, I'm like, yeah, so we're at section A. And then I see Wentz jump the gate. I'm like, oh, shit. Oh, shit. Oh, let's go. And the dude's just sitting there the whole time. So who's that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
But so it was an added layer of surprise to you, because you weren't prepared at all, let alone for Zachary Wentz to return, man. But this is something we've been advocating for a while, man. We're excited to have him back. And this was part of the okay if you get the belt off of Miguel, because you kind of saw where it was going. At least in our minds, we saw it was going, so it was a wait and see, and they delivered, man. So not only was it a good match, but Alex Shelley's going to make the save, and... there's a lot of different things going on here. Io saying stoked as fuck. That's awesome. Millard saying hopefully get Myron Reed. I think there's going to be layers to this Rascals come upeth or come backeth. I don't know. But yeah, I think the tag division is lifting up, and I don't want to jump too far ahead, but I think this shows a little bit where Shelley may be after Slammiversary as well. Your thoughts on... obviously we talked on the surprise and all that, but we could go right into the promo, because they brought fire, man. They were both hot, and the thing they're working with is no treehouse, unfortunately. I guess we still have rent there, or a lease there, but they're saying we let them down. We forgot about them. We abandoned them as a fan base. What your thoughts on this filthy Rascals?
I mean, for sure, outside looking in, they do have they do have a case in that regard. Especially Wentz. Not for me personally. I've been wanting them back, obviously. Yeah. Trey's the one where I'm like, I don't know, dog. We were kind of riding with you this whole time. It was you.
Right. You turned on, yeah.
Yeah,
but that's kind of his character, whiny, like, woe is me,
Yeah, but we ride for the homie, so it is what it is.
Right. But kayfabe, it's a bitch, right?
Yeah.
His character's a bitch, yeah.
Yeah.
But still cool, man. And yeah, I dig this. This is what we wanted. And once again, tag division looking great, or getting back to where we want it. And more on that later without getting into spoiler free. But Critical Sting saying Wentz back, Kushida coming back at Slam, Myron is a free agent, potential of Time Machine versus Rascals feud. That's kind of where I'm headed, man. And there's a line later, I'm sure it was just a dig, and it might not have anything to do with it, but we'll talk about the main event scene in just a second. But
here's my only thing.
Yeah.
Again, these Impact Trios titles.
Just too much
my
to book.
My division's getting built.
I know, but 86 minutes, man. They're just making smart decisions with their factions and intellectual property. But it's always up in the air. If they get another show, I'm all for it, but that's a lot of belt. A lot of belts.
Either that, or send them to New Japan to get those never open weight
Kind of
6-man titles and just
swing them around.
Yeah.
Just get permission this time, unlike
Right.
we did before. But next up, Deonna is coming down looking like an artist. Is that what you said? A master. What was it last time?
I don't know. She just every time she comes out though, she just looks like art.
Art,
So
just art. And she's going to take commentary where she is no slouch either. And this is for the Trinity versus Jay Vidal match. This is the culmination of everything kind of going on with them, that wonky ending of at Against All Odds to now and so on. But Trinity's going to get the win via tap out, get attacked after, and Deonna's going to take her time. Is it because they're Slammiversary opponents? Is there just she was picking the right moment? I don't know, but she comes in and makes the save eventually, and that's where we're at. Starting to put a little bit of spice on this. I don't want to say feud, but this rivalry, because it's heading into Slammiversary. Your thoughts on Trinity versus Deonna? Obviously in general, and then the match, I guess.
Well, this match was the guaranteed spot of the night where the audio levels will be on point, because you heard how live we were when Trinity's music hit.
I was saying that right there. It's something I forgot to write down, but yeah, man.
If they don't catch anything else audio wise, they gonna get that Trinity pop perfectly.
Yeah.
And the pop is always legit, so that's not a thing to worry. Her and Jay Vidal was actually, as far as a live match, like seeing in person, wasn't that bad, because he's smaller and also athletic, and you know what Trinity can do.
Right. I thought they complement each other well.
Yeah, it was a good little intergender match. But as far as Deonna and Trinity, I was kind of worried that they were gonna hang on that buddy angle a little too long, and make this be about respect, and then the disrespect don't happen until the match. But I was actually legit surprised that Deonna got in and helped her. I thought that would have been where the spice would have came, and Deonna's like, "Nah, bro, you ain't my problem." But I'm also thinking Deonna needs Trinity 100%, or somewhat percent, to at least show up so she can beat her.
I think they're going to make the tease, and obviously hit up Slammiversary as we go through so we can, just hit it barely at the end, but I feel like they're going to go with something where it's just a tease the whole time. I don't think there's going to be real heat on it. Maybe more, obviously spoiler free. Maybe we go there. But the reason I say that is because Mickey's is winding up to come back. She has a show in France on the 8th, I believe. It feels like if they could just do this right, to where there's enough tension to where, hey, I want you healthy, I want you healthy, let's see who's the best between Deonna and Trinity. And then we get to the end, and it's not Deonna's fault. Maybe it is. Maybe she's in with Mickey. But Mickey comes and makes that turn so Deonna doesn't have to drop the belt. I don't know if Trinity taking the belt is the way they're going. Things change. Who knows? But I think it would be I won't say consolation prize, but a great avenue B for Trinity to go to face Mickey, because that's still something exciting for her. But I wouldn't mind her having the belt. The crowd wouldn't mind her having the belt. I'm glad everyone brought that up, because I didn't take notes whatsoever, besides the matches. But yeah, I remember thinking that between the first match with Sabin and Trey, where the crowd was into it, and then Wentz coming back to that fire promo, then to Trinity, it just felt like we had star after star after character, video game scene after video games. I don't know what the hell I'm saying, but you know what I mean. Like, that's the greatest compliment I get, when they look like stars. It sounds like stars when they come out, and and the crowd reacts to them that way. So I'm all for Trinity winning. I don't know if that's the way they go. Do you think that's, we'll get to our predictions, but you think it's just a victory from Trinity?
I mean, I didn't think it would be that easy for her to come in and slide the belt. And then also, I think it's going to come down to how long she's here for.
That's key. And I think that's the part we don't know, and maybe we don't want to know. I think if you know, you can kind of predict that. And I don't think, though, all of this talking in circles, but what I'm trying to get is I don't think either if win or loss that it's a 6-month thing. I don't think that's going to determine if she loses, that means she's gone. So I think to have another program lined up is a good sign. But next up, speaking of, and I don't know if this is because of creative or there's change of plans, or maybe this was, Moose resigning, whatever, but they were off the Myers and Moose thing. Now they're back to the Myers and Moose thing. And Myers tells him to ditch the dead weight. He's telling him to leave the good hands behind. Because I just skipped over it, but they announced a tag team title match, which kind of came out of the blue for all of us. ABC defending against Sammy and Rich. You have Moose and Myers, which we just mentioned, and the return of Subculture. For you, there's a few questions there, I know. But we'll start with the spoiler-free ones. Did this match, besides even just being in Atlanta and being confused, did this kind of catch you off guard as well?
It really did. And I mean, it's not even necessary that it was a multi-team match. I'm just like, of all the teams that's in it, though, they've already beat one. They've already beat Subculture, so why should they get another shot?
Yeah. Story-wise.
That's really, yeah.
Yeah.
Straight kayfabe-wise. But that's really the only ones, because, I mean, Moose and Myers, they've been kind of on and off.
Right.
So they've had at least some sort of like tag team journey. And then Rich and Sammy dealing with the design, they have some sort of journey there, but not related to the title.
Yeah.
So it makes sense for them to be a part of a multi-team. It's just Subculture, considering they've already had a shot at the belts and lost.
Yeah.
I don't think they should still be in it.
I'm going to say I don't think any of them should be in there besides ABC, obviously. Now, I'm not saying from a viewer standpoint, I'm excited the belts are going to be featured in a dope-ass match. All 8 of these dudes are going to bring it, and it's going to be fire. But kayfabe-wise, not a single one of these tag teams deserve a shot at the tag team titles. Subculture lost. Moose and Myers been playing grab ass. Are they? Aren't they? And helping the good hands last month or whatever. And then Sammy and Rich are coming off losses in main event, the world title, the picture thing with Rich, and then I mean I guess Sammy's winning with OVE, but just really weird.
And that's another part with Sammy and Rich. Like, it's been OVE for the longest. Rich has been doing his own shit solo, so now you're gonna just be like, oh well, yeah, that's still my homie. I've been wearing the hat.
Right. And that's the thing is, if I always make the case, the way I look at a storyline, if it's makes whatever, is if in 10 seconds I can write a story and say, oh well, Subculture deserved this, because there's none of that. And they just gave us, here's the result. There's no context leading up to it. So I was disappointed in that. I know there's more that may or may not come out after the next 2 weeks before we get to Slammiversary. But, yeah, we'll just say this, to keep it spoiler free. Do you think this will be the match that ends up being at Slammiversary?
As currently constructed, no.
Okay. Critical Sting bringing up a good point, by the way, that they've been pushing narrative that the division is wide open with ABC as champs. I think that's a nice way of saying, hey, we have no tag teams and we're building them up all at once. But it's not once again, as a viewer, I'm happy to see this match. I'm waiting to see this match. To have Subculture back in it, pop. But does it make sense? I don't know. But they're going to try to make sense of BTI shenanigans by doing a flashback here, which I still love because, hey, you got to tie in the show prior. But basically this segment, they're taking away the win. Daniel Spencer's taking away the win from Dice and Swinger because of the Dice quick count and beyond. It's comedy. We lost it with, having a more serious Santino and then a Dango that's more serious. So you got to fit it in somewhere. And Dice and Swinger are the comedy act for the week.
Huge pop, though, for Zicky Dice calling themselves Zick Patrick.
Yeah. There was good stuff. Once again, good things within. But definitely just the comedy of the week aspect there. Next up, And this one I want to... Well, there's a lot to talk about. So Lio Rush is back with Impact. He did that spot with us from Multiverse. He comes in here, and he's facing the Black Diamond in the Rough, if you will, the love child of the Diamond in the Roughs. Diamond in the Roughs, yeah.
Diamonds in
the Rough, there we go. Jack Price. He's going to lose via the final hour by Lio Rush, but Lio Rush comes in, and he's cocky, and that's his gimmick. And we're going to find out later that he's sure of himself because he also has a title match that he's walking into. This guy is going to go for the X Division Championship against Chris Sabin at Slammiversary. Your thoughts on Lio Rush in general? I couldn't tell if the crowd was behind him or not. It seemed pretty decent for him. I don't know. But your thoughts on Lio Rush coming in, beating Jack Price in that match, and then now just walking into Slammiversary?
I mean, first off, we were, I wouldn't say live for Lio Rush, but the crowd did enjoy watching Lio work, him and Jack Price in the ring. I personally fuck with him because I love the juke off the ropes that he'll hit people with. Yeah. Like, the shit just looks beautiful to me.
Yeah, he's got some smooth shit.
Yeah. I mean, who else is gonna challenge for the belt at Slammiversary? Who else? No one else really has any momentum in the X.
Well, I think that's the problem. And just like the tag division, that's kind of what I wish they would have done, was build someone here. But I think this is a direct result of that switch to get Maclin back on that Josh line, which I talked about last time. We'll talk about creative. I still don't. I get the idea, but I still don't think Delirious came in and said, "We're putting the belts on Motor City." He's got a seat at the table, but I don't think that's what happened. I think this was in the line, especially with Aldis turning heel. I think they knew where they needed to go, but I think this is a direct result of that decision because they wanted Sabin and Shelley. So Sabin, Shelley is kind of going off doing his own thing. You got to quickly give him something. So I think that's why they brought someone in here. I don't mind it being Lio Rush. I'm not too familiar with his work past ROH, to be honest. But he's talented. I like him. It's just weird to me to bring in a dude who, has some name value, is talented, but there's no build. Like, hey, it's just me. I'm here because I'm Lio Rush. I get a shot. But I get your point too. Who else? I get that completely. But the answer should be, let's make someone else, right?
Well, and to try to make someone else, we can run with the TNA nostalgia trip. We could have easily had Sabin and Kazarian get in some shit.
That's fair.
And that ended up being the X title match for Slammiversary.
I think it's just so planned far ahead that once they did that Maclin thing and they had to figure out where they were going to go to get back to where they wanted to be, this is just a repercussion of that. And the same, I also said it was premeditated based on Aldis' promo. Guess you all figured babyface Aldis wasn't going to work out. Yeah, and I think it was premeditated. I don't think it was a change afterwards. I think it was when they brought Aldis in, this was where they changed the thinking here. But from that standpoint of who do you bring in to get hype, yeah, I'm with you there. We're going to get an Ultimate X to jump around here. We're going to get Gresham, Kushida, Knight, Angels, and Bailey. So maybe we start bringing someone, there. Well, obviously they're going to get a X Division title shot. So they're going to give someone the start of juice between them versus Sabin or them versus Rush. You think Rush has any chance, though?
He has about as much chance as Nick Aldis does.
50-50?
Honestly. But if both machine guns aren't losing their belts at Slammiversary on my prediction, so
you think they're both losing?
No, both aren't. At least one is going to walk out still a champion.
We'll
at least one.
All right, we'll get to that. I thought it would be Sabin if you were to put a gun to my head right now. I'd say Sabin would be the one of the two that keeps it, but we'll get to that. Next up, speaking of Dirty Dango, he's dropping more of the Gratitude era stuff. He's talking this time about Santino and Cornette slapping him. and make an example out of him, and then his career, allegedly, from Dango, being a result of please don't sue us. Just really screwed up, man. Also talks about his daughter being in the system, and is she going to get slapped around as well?
That was kind of crazy.
That's good shit, man, because it's going to go right into a back-to-back promo, which I found weird. I guess he watched the tape and then is responding to whatever. But Santino is going to go and spit fire, man. It's still in character.
Wasn't I think the Dango thing was put out on Twitter earlier in the day, I think.
Okay, cleaning up the loose ends there. Okay, I like it.
Yeah.
But still Santino showing us a different side of that fire, but still being Santino-ish in it. Which is great.
So my question, though, is who's the damn boss right now? Because we got the president who had to step down to fight Bully, and then now we got Santino who's supposed to be next in charge, and he's about to fight Dango. It's like, who's running this damn place?
Well, Gale, I don't know. He's saying essentially, and that's what, it's funny. That's what got me too. He's like, I can't, or at Slammiversary, I can wrestle because Scott will be vice president again. Which means Dango versus Santino cannot be on the countdown show. It needs to be co-main event or something. So Scott can have his match and then take back his vice presidentship. I don't know, man. We'll get to, the creative here is they're tying up loose ends. They're trying to make shit work. And they chose a direction that is peace and Slammiversary together in an odd way. Not bad. The result of the card's going to be good. But the road to Slammiversary is... We need to pave some patches here, man. Pave some potholes, I mean. But one feud that continues to go on, and this is why I do like Kazarian staying where he is Eddie, Lish, and Kazarian are going to get into it here. Don't know if it goes the Tracy route, like we said. She just came out and said that she's cool being retired. So your Jody threat possibility is there if that's the route they go. But I want to throw something else on you, because did you watch the episode as well, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, you would have the promos, but a lot of mention of the Wolves and some tag team. Oh, I was part of a tag team. You were part of a tag team. Don't know if that's the route we go this quickly to Slammiversary, but I thought that was interesting. Either way, it keeps Eddie and Kaz on the same timeline. What do you think there?
Fucking Wolves versus Bad Influence match would go too crazy to even make sense.
Yeah.
But oh man, I'm just gonna keep my eye on him and see what's going on, because this is really one that I thought would have been dead after.
Yeah.
The last time they fought at the last Plus special.
I'm happy it's not though. It's one of those things where I said last time, this is where I want the DMC. If I can have a feud of them, it doesn't need best of 5 or 7, anything like that, but to have some real contenders be on that DMC level right before maybe playing around in the world picture when they're needed would be great. More on that later, though. We got some good sprouts coming from that belt, but we'll talk about. But yeah, I'm excited to see them together, and it's a cool feud to have. Once again, star versus star, which I like.
And I don't know if this will serve as a good segue or not, but I was also expecting them to keep on that, well, we beat the hell out of each other. Well, let's be friends. I mean, for God's sakes, we were trained by the same guy. Right. So, bound together by Kowalski. So I was expecting them to just keep on keeping on.
And Kazarian used to rock that green back in the day, right? So his Michael Shane, they could have done that, and they could have done something with that. Yeah. As long as they're in the same picture together, I would love if it ventured out into those two tag teams, but we'll see. Either way, this is, glad to have them both on the screen. Real quick, I want to hit up on what they're saying before we move on. Critical Sting saying Dreamer music plays. That's in reference to who's in charge. I was saying I really like this new Dango. Me too, man. He needed to do something a little different, and this was it. But speaking of a little different, something that we talked about and we thought might happen, and we're finally seeing the fruits of that labor there. Kylan King is going to be defeated here in the next match. I always love watching Kylan in singles action, man. Love her as a tag team, love the Coven, but she's legit. Anytime someone says to me, or like, well, it's not like it's a lot of people, but if I talk to my friends or Johnny or someone, he's like, recommend a match that I could catch up on Impact or something, and I say that Trinity versus Kylan King match was a damn good match to watch, because I think they both did well in that. But Kylan King, flowers. But she's gonna take the loss to Masha here via the snowplow, and Kelly's gonna make the save, chained up. And we're getting Masha and Killer Kelly as in a, go back and watch it. I don't want to make this a thirst trap, but
Man,
the thirst trap segment of the week. But what a moment, what a segment, and hey, I'm okay that it's 1-on-1. We thought this would be the multi-tag time to feature your tag teams match at Slammiversary, but if it's just these two entities, I'm good with it.
I have to be very selective with my words.
Yeah.
Just know that we're on the same page.
Yes. It opened a lot of eyes, third eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But either
and
way.
then I peeped one thing. I peeped Jordan put on Twitter. She's like, "Wow, I leave Impact and y'all start doing stuff like this now."
Who said that?
Jordan.
Oh shit.
And then her and Kelly had a whole little interaction. Kelly's like, "Come join us."
Hey man, hopefully.
I'm just like,
look, do we want Masha and Kelly to be stuck? I don't want to say it like that, but stuck as tag team for the long haul? No, they're both stars. They both, and the same I feel with Kylan. I think she could, eventually. But right now, we never had anything like this. Two girls who could go in there, two knockouts, two women who could go in there and just, for lack of better terms, fuck shit up. That's a cool pairing, man. It's a cool pairing. It's kind
of like, imagine if ODB and Awesome Kong had linked up.
I feel that. It's a different
when the titles first came, and like they're getting teams together, and it's Kong and it's ODB, and it's like maybe not as sexual, but the ass kicking is the same.
As the IO said, I already can see the backstage segments will go. Yeah, that's the one. I want the Coven to rock. I want the Coven to rock with these belts. But if they do the switch or the go back, back and forth, and Masha and Kelly take this, the segments of them holding the belts just hanging from their teeth, I feel like that's going to be something. Like Pitbull style or Rick Steiner style. Like, it's going to be something. But we're here for it. I think we're all here for it. Continuing on, we get a Scott D'Amore flower video, and it is, well-deserved. Love Scott, but at the end of the day, pull back the curtain, he really is in charge. So it kind of seems a little gratuitous, a little Barry Horowitz, but it makes sense. But putting a lot of his shit over, man. Eventually he's going to interview by Gia, and then we get the word that Darren McCarty's going to be the special enforcer, so bringing us full circle there. This match might change for a different reason. We'll get to that. But the Good Hand's going to come in here and win themselves a match against PCO next week. So Good Hand's getting that pushed back down the ladder, unfortunately. What'd you think about this, Scott? Hey, remember me video package? All true and all deserved, but,
I didn't have any, thoughts on, oh, yeah, this is the boss. I was legit on kind of sort of the time that they were on, like, y'all, let's remember Scott can really do this.
Yeah.
I still wish this match was just Scott and Bully one-on-one. Maybe.
It might be.
Fortunately, unfortunately, that might be the case. Like, that would be the best plan B.
We'll get to that when we talk about the different options here. But that's something you talked about from the get-go. PCO really doesn't need something. So it could just be Scott versus him. But hey, I wonder what Devon's doing. Next up, Yuya Uemura here is coming out, and he's got that James Storm 2.0, I'm going to lose look. There was something that normal Bobby Roode, Super Saiyan Bobby Roode team. Yuya was not there, man. He came out with ponytail just like he was just told to go to the ring. And I said, damn, this dude's going to lose. But it's okay because it was Kenny, King, King, and Sheldon Jeans. Sheldon Jeans, which I love that he's wearing jeans now. Beautiful. Wear them all the time because it's funny as hell. But Kenny's going to pick up the win here and sets up what we think is going to happen at Slammiversary. Kenny King getting that DMC shot and hopefully victory against Joe Hendry. But Joe Hendry going to get the last laugh here tonight because he's talking about Kenny's stripper days. Lucha.
All I got to say is fuck the belt. Kenny got to kick his ass, like, for realsies. Like, come on now. You violated too much. Also, I'm going to need Joe Hendry to get nominated for a Grammy. He's for sure got to be the best diss rapper of all time right now. And I need these songs on Apple Music and Spotify.
Yes, next
step. Because they're bangers.
Next step, man. Look, Joe Hendry, he's in that not weird predicament, that good and bad predicament of being the funny guy, which always hits for the most part. I haven't really I can't think of one that comes to mind where I'm like, okay. But he's always hitting, but he's got to keep always up in the game. Like, where do you go? Where do you go? And where do you go? So maybe a heel turn is in point eventually, but right now he's holding on to that DMC and he's cracking jokes that continue to hit.
But I mean, if you're too cool in 99, 2000 and it's still hitting, then you know what I'm saying, you might as well keep it. He's kind of in that spot where he's how Too Cool and Rikishi were
right
on Raw. Like, it's a great spot. I watch old Raws and I see how wild we were when they were doing the dance. I'm like, how the fuck?
And you need that on a show. And that's why I never fault it. If he could keep doing it and keep swinging and keep hitting, and it keeps, the people, when his music hits and he cuts it and everyone's like, oh, every time, you got something. So keep going with it. That's cool. I'm happy for him. I don't think that turn or him needing to turn happens until he loses that belt. And even if that maybe not, but something big needs to change the demeanor of Joe Hendry, not just something, oh, I'm now evil. There needs to be something, and that belt seems to, the way he hugs onto that belt, it needs to be that. Maybe that's the possession.
I don't know. Shout out to him as DMC, though, because, I mean, he's got his own show on Impact Plus, the food fight joints, and that belt is prominently featured somewhere in, like, the background or
all the time.
Yeah.
Smart.
So
it's smart.
If he loses it, does that mean like Kenny gets a show now? Is it gonna have like a date show? Gonna have Bachelorette on Impact Plus?
Well, what do you call? They wouldn't call it Bachelor. They call it somewhat King, right? It would be like
Queen of the Night.
Queen of the. I think that means
Kenny
something.
King's Queen of the. Yeah. Oh.
I think that means something different.
Yeah. I'm here.
But speaking of Queen of the Nights, I don't know. Nick Aldis is out next, and love that the crowd were on riding him. 2, you can audibly hear someone call him the National Disgrace, which was wonderful. But he comes out and he's gonna cut a promo. Shelly's gonna eventually come out and have to sit ringside. We're gonna do the dance of the verbal. Aldis gonna roll on for a bit, and the crowd's gonna, welcome that with boos, and rightfully so. But he's hitting on all the right things as being that. What's up?
I said we were giving him fuck you heat. Like, as soon as he opened his mouth, I was like, nah, bro.
Let's take it. And you know what? And did I want him winning as the Faces champion? No. Still come around to him being part of Impact and being a team player. Good. Excited for that. Like when he comes out, interested at least, cool. But heel, as Io was saying, as Aldis said as well, face Aldis wasn't going to work, but only for so long. So I like it, and he calls Shelly a transitional champion, which I don't know if it's on the nose or not, but I think he was just telling it like it is. I think Nick Aldis is going to take this as Slammiversary, but either way, they're going to get into it. And Saban's going to come make the save, and then Lio Rush is going to end it to solidify, hey, I'm the guy facing you at Slammiversary. That's where it just felt a little bit out of place. What was it? I made the deals. You know, that's where I was trying to wrap my head around making it make sense. But when you saw what was coming at Atlanta, what was the tapings called?
The Summer Sizzler.
Summer Sizzler. The Sizzler. You saw the match was going to be Aldis and Lio, and it must have gave us, a little bit of a hint. Hey, look at that. Summer Sizzler. There you go. I was there. Slammiversary.
I was there.
But overall, your thoughts on the show in general, and we can use this as a transition straight into the creative changes and kind of touch on that a little bit. Because, no matter who is in charge of them or not, we're definitely in different tone and going different places than we would have, I think, under Jimmy Jacobs. Maybe not. I don't
know. Now, I didn't watch this era Ring of Honor. I just heard that, this was something that Delirious was doing, or what he was responsible for, and that was the original Eddie versus Davey rivalry when they, started going against each other.
The TV in the world.
Yeah. So once I heard that, I figured, well, this is just copy and paste. Instead of the Wolves, we got it with the machine guns, TNA style. Because I really honestly see Shelly holding this belt until at minimum Bound for Glory.
Because you think it's going to be a Saban versus Shelly.
I think I think episode 1. I'm feeling episode 1000. They both have to defend their belts. Both of them defend their belts, and then Saban grabs the mic. Hey, I'm cashing in. I'll see you at Bound for Glory, and then bang bang.
I like it. I'm here for it. I'm sure you could do. There's tons of things you could do with Aldis, especially if he's sticking around. I don't know the length of his schedule, but I don't think. And I mentioned that earlier. I don't think it was the Delirious thing whatsoever. I think. Just because, once again, from all intents and purposes, he's a producer on the show and he has a seat at the creative. They made sure to mention that on PW Insider and a bunch of places that he has a seat at creative. He's not the head. So I don't think they changed, hey, we're going to scrap Maclin because this is the route we want to go. But I think it was, one, to get a shot of caffeine in the arm of Slammiversary. We needed to go with
shot of caffeine, daddy.
Yeah, I sent that with Wentz because I was like, this is pop me, man. Because I wasn't down the past few weeks, but it was just... There was a change. There was definitely a transitional change. Sorry, dropping mics. But they're feeling their way out, and it sucks that you got the Josh injury, which changed things. We know that we know that for a fact because he at least would have been in the title picture, Maclin included, one way or another. I think we would have had Bully and Josh, or Bully versus Scott straight up. Or maybe with different people, not including Maclin. But I think this was their way of getting off of it, and it put something interesting with two former TNAers. So I don't know who's responsible for what, but, I liked ROH at that time. So to have that added to the booking committee on the regular, I'm cool. At the same time, right now we're in a weird... a patch job of trying to figure out, especially now with Maclin being injured in Australia, of where to go from here. So Slammiversary seems to be like that's going to be our Pandora box when they open that. I'm not say TNA box, but the box in general to see where we go from Slammiversary on.
The Panda
energy box.
The Panda box.
Panda box. But look, I'm looking forward to Slammiversary being here. There was a lot of good things on the show, I thought. Some things that gave me that shot of caffeine, the Wentz stuff, Trinity, the development of Motor City and multiple things. Hey, look, there's a lot of Motor City rascals in the beginning there. There's Motor City and obviously in the main event as well. So that's another reason I could kind of see them losing their belts, but it doesn't mean anything. They could play all along the roster, being singles and tag. Either way, I don't know, man. Are you just kind of at a point? This is where I'm at. I want to see Slammiversary. I'm going to watch everything, but I want to see Slammiversary, and I want to see what happens after. I want to see where they reset this pitchfork, I guess, after they tune. You know what I mean?
Because I was always feeling like Slammiversary they'll know more about how Bound for Glory will look based off of the status of people. So if anything, Slammiversary will serve as the full reset
Right.
that we're looking for. Just a matter of who's going to be in certain pieces. I'm cool. I find myself more hyped for this year versus last year around this time. Last year around this time, I was kind of like...
Honor No More, Bound for Glory, Albany.
It was more because it was the 20-year anniversary, I guess.
Oh wait, you were saying you were more hyped last year?
I'm more hyped this year for the actual Slammiversary show.
Gotcha. Okay. Why? Just because it was going to be nostalgia last year?
Yeah, last year nostalgia covered a lot of it because we had what was it, Josh versus EY. And, we're like, oh, well, why is this the title? Why was EY the challenger? We're complaining about that. Couldn't tell you what the X title match was.
Oh, right. And then there was the nostalgia was carrying like the 5-on-5 and there was all those things, the Briscoes versus Good Brothers, right? And then AMW. So yeah, you're right, man.
And then we had, what was it, Knockouts Queen of the Mountain?
That's true. That was good. But it was a lot of that driven thing, yeah.
So like the main event card, the end of the card is looking hyper than it was last year. Yeah. In my eyes thus far.
Yeah, I'm that's a great way of looking at it, man. That's definitely, I won't say silver line because we're still saying good things about the product, just as far as...
Because the solo title matches we have for this year, like Sabin versus Lio Rush, Deonna versus Trinity, Shelly versus Aldis, those are 3 matches with some
meat on the bones.
2.5 matches with some meat on the bones.
Maybe we'll get there with Lio Rush thing. It's just hard when you throw someone in there and they're just banking off name value. But yeah, I'm with you, man. You look at the card: Shelly versus Aldis, Trinity versus Deonna, Sabin, Rush. Say what you will about the tag division, and we said it, but for the 4-way tag, ABC Subculture, Moose and Myers, Sammy and Rich, then Ultimate X. I'm guessing we're gonna get Eddie versus Kazarian in some facet, Santino in some facet. We gotta fix that tag team table match. What's up?
Kenny and Joe Hendry.
Kenny and Joe, and the Knockouts tag as well, I'm guessing. So we could kind of see the picture, and 1 through, I'm guessing 10, look legit. They all have people that we're interested in. It's not relying on nostalgia, but only so much, if that. So yeah, I'm with you there, man. It looks like it's going to be a good card, and that's the only reason I said is I want to see with a clean slate, with the pieces they have in play, knowing, hey, this guy's injured, this guy's healthy now and can return. This guy is locked in, and Moose, who, let's get right to that really quick. Or actually, let me finish and then we'll get to that. I just, they'll have a good place to jump off from. Set the foundation, and let's see what they're about from this point forward. Maybe bring in some new names. Who knows what happens at Slammiversary, but it'll be a good starting point. But let's get to that Moose thing, because Moose has re-signed. It was hey man, we don't know. He's looking good. He's 39. He probably wants to get that last run. He wants to make some money. He wants the big main events elsewhere and whatever. And he puts out a long thing and says, I'm home. And this is, kind of, I won't say it's LeBron returning to Cleveland. It's more Carmelo staying in New York. But I'm happy he's there. And he understood. He even said that in the thing of, I can't always be the main event guy in a company like Impact. We have to build. And I agree with him. But coming from Slammiversary on, I just want him to eat belts. I don't give a shit. He doesn't need to win them necessarily, I guess. But I want this dude to have another world title run. He deserves to be in that picture all the time.
I kind of want him to be in that role that we were kind of priming Eddie. You remember how Eddie Edwards in like 2018, 2019, where it's like you look at someone as the ambassador of good matches and Impact. All you got to do is just throw Eddie. If you want to, you're doing something interpromotional and you want to send a guy that's going to go there and put on a banger for you.
Yep.
Send Eddie. I want that to be Moose. Just send him. I want him to like. I need Impact and AEW to like work something out so
Use
we can
those
get
damn
Moose.
jumpsuits for a reason. Those track suits.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. There should be a war. There should. I mean, obviously, I get it. They're gonna say, our people are on the level, but in some way, some facet, because you look at it in Moose, Eddie, and Josh. Those, Maclin now too, but those guys are our WC Dub, right? Who's the sixth? Who's the third man? That kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
Moose is that to me, and I'm agree with you with the Eddie thing. There's a lineage of that. There's Angle, well, AJ of course, but then you had Angle, who was, hey, it doesn't matter if he was facing, AJ or he's facing Matt Morgan, he was going to make them look great. And we had that with Eddie. Eddie was that. He still is. Eddie can still do it.
Briefly with Mike Elgin.
Right. There you go as well. No matter who you put on the card with, you knew they were going to deliver. This is going to, oh shit, let me circle this, It's kind of like a Rob Van Dam match back in the day.
Yeah.
Or whoever, So yeah, man, I'm with you there, and Moose is definitely that, and it just he feels, even though Josh is English, that Moose where the music hits, and like from that point forward, this is top level shit. It is, I'm with you. So I'm happy to have him back, and does he need to win the world title? No, but would it be nice to have, a main event trio or quartet of Moose, Josh, who else is there? Moose, Josh, Maclin, and whoever that fourth is, Aldis or Revolving Door.
Aldis, Sammy,
right.
Rich.
Whoever, Kazarian could come up. Kenny King can make so that fourth spot, like the Attitude Era, can always, and that's a good place to be, to have at least those three, Maclin, who unfortunately is injured, Josh coming back, and Moose locked in.
Hey, if they bring in Myron Reed, you could line Myron and Wentz as the tag team in the Rascals, and Trey could also
move up,
slide into the world title picture too.
I would love if he made a stop at the DMC and we actually used that for, where we, the stepping stone.
That would be crazy.
Just because that would solidify it, man. When you start putting a guy as the leader, so to speak, the forehead, the forefront, and then the two guys with gold as well, that would elevate the DMC to me as well. It's like, oh, we captured the belt. We have the trio of, so yeah, it could be used. The future's looking good, man. The future's looking good. And the fact that we have a Moose locked in, we have a Wentz signed and back, we have a creative team that seems to be in it and locked in, and hopefully Slammiversary on, we could see some, fruit of that labor, man. Anything else on the Slammiversary front or news front that you want to bring up there before we hit up the chat?
No, not really.
Not much in the.
It's been kind of a low time. A lot of pieces are getting moved together, so we're not getting hit with too much new info. We'll figure that out the closer we get.
Yeah, and I'm there with you. It's just been kind of I'm waiting to see. Obviously, you have a different perspective being there, but for these tapings. But I'm excited to see what Slammiversary July 15th.
Yeah,
on a Saturday.
16th. Mm-hmm.
It's on a Saturday, so the 16th will be the Slammiversary review right here, guys. Make sure you look out for that. Make sure to like, subscribe, check out. I was gonna say LOLtreeNA. Go Power Rankings this Tuesday, TNA 2K this Wednesday, and then check back with us. I'll definitely do a reaction before Slammiversary to catch up with you guys. But a lot of good stuff going on. Just excited to see how all the pieces fit together after Slammiversary, and at Slammiversary and beyond. Thank you guys in the chat, lighting it up. I want to make sure I hit up all the things you guys are saying. Millard saying, very glad Moose stayed, but please let him start winning matches. He lost both on the Down Under shows. Yeah, I don't think he cares. Millard, as far as losing, especially now he re-signed, but I'm saying they probably wrote him off for creative, and now they're going to have to figure out a way to bring back Moose, and it won't be that difficult to get him back to where he needs to be. Millard saying July 15th is best day of the year, Geoff. My birthday, brother. Hey, happy birthday.
Oh, shit. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday in advance.
What do you think about a possible face Moose? maybe him not necessarily going back to, that old, he can still come through and look like he's trying to huff and puff and blow your house down.
Yeah.
But
I'll
just be like an anti-hero, I guess.
The answer that popped up when you asked that, especially with Maclin going down to anti-hero, yeah, that's where we wanted him to go. I think at the end of the day, they still need to make a group. If it's Team Canada still and they want to go that route, which I think they should. I know it's hard with now Maclin maybe out of the picture for a bit, unfortunately. Oh yeah, we didn't hit on that. Australia, make sure I don't know if you guys watched it, but let us know what you thought about that, and I'll catch up on it when I can. And but Maclin, obviously, the big news coming out of that. But they're gonna need a new faction still. Is it Aces and Aids? I don't know what bully. They got to do something to have that anti-hero. Moose would be cool for that role. And I just think when you asked that question, I wrote it at the same time that I was thinking it. Give Moose a faction. I don't know if he needs a lot of people, but to give Moose, to make him feel like even a bigger star, to have his music hit, maybe to have someone come out and announce him prior or talk with him as well to hype up his matches even more. Maybe a valet on top of it. I think if you give Moose a package, would only add to him, and he could be that face. Does he need to go that route? No, but I think that would be cool.
Give him someone to talk for him, so he doesn't have to.
I feel you. I think he still needs to, because anyone that's going to be in that world title, you need to be able to deliver on that end too. But if he keeps it light and sweet because he's focused on the ring or whatever, he could have someone that hypes up the rest. He needs a Flava Flav. He needs a Flava Flav. He could be the kingpin of Impact. Yeah, that's a good one. I like that.
I mean, that's why him, Kenny King, and Sheldon Jean would just be perfect for me.
That could be cool. That'd be cool because Kenny King. Now you don't know where he's going, but hopefully it's DMC win first. But yeah, I don't know. I think there's a lot of room you could play with a lot of the characters here, man, that they have, and it feels like we're at a point where if tomorrow all this happened for Moose and he had a total different approach and group with him, or if insert person here, I think we wouldn't complain. We'd be down for it because everyone feels like they're at a point to do something different, and we'll see.
And to tie into power rankings lore, because we were just bullshitting with it, but it just seems like ever since we started this as a running joke, it's kind of been the case. People are clicking up so they can hit number one on power rankings because they saw how the Motor City Machine Guns and Time Machine did just that, coming together. The next thing you know, they're freaking perennial number ones week in and week out on the power rankings. So now people are realizing that that's what it takes, and we're getting all these clicks together
to build factions. You mean?
Yeah, to build factions, to really run the power rankings. So power rankings is less a solo thing and more just a group domination. Trying to fuck the world up.
And I was like, what the fuck? I got what you're saying. Like, as in each person. Okay, yeah,
they're trying to fuck the world up is what they're trying to do.
Gotcha. Well, if you guys want to join the Power Rank Committee and help Lucha Nuts, have feels about this. At Burt Maclin 11 or at TNAIW channel, hit up Io, who continues to kill it there, man. Millard saying in there that both Australia shows were great, hyped all night. Crowd was. Night one, the crowd is so other than a couple of matches. Okay. ABC looked great both nights, and Giselle as well. Okay.
It's crazy that ABC got the pin over the Machine Guns. I know this show is non-canon, but that's gotta mean something towards the future, right?
We'll see. It feels like a lot of people are working with ABC and Machine Guns and all different things, man. If it means a revival of the tag division, I'm for it, but we'll see. Other than that, guys, I really don't have too much, and I want to keep stalling. I think we're both gassed. If you guys haven't noticed, you guys keeping the show alive with the chat. I appreciate you. We love you guys. Make sure you check out everything on this channel, and let us know what you're looking forward to Impact, man. This is what I guess we're all kind of on the same page. Is we're hitting a clean slate at Slammiversary. Could be new champions all around. It could be new number one contenders in some cases. But it could definitely be the jumping off point for a lot of what Impact will look like heading to Bound for Glory. And I hope, the one wish I will make, if we're going to do really quick, I guess, even though I just stalled, wishes for Bound for Glory, Bound for Glory series. Bring it back.
It would be perfect with us having the machine guns implode, with Sabin cashing in the X belt to go for the world title. So then on top of that, we have to crown the Bound for Glory series. What if that eventually ends up being for... Wait, no, that wouldn't work out timeline.
Hey, wonder if Sabin loses his belt and then wins the Bound for Glory series. I mean, there's a bunch of ways you could go with it.
If we could work it out to where the Bound for Glory series ends up being for like the vacant X belt.
That's cool. So option C, vacant X belt. Hey, that could be something. Open that third eye again. Where's Seidel when you need him? All right. Thank you guys. I appreciate you. Critical Sting saying, can we acknowledge the multiple rubs MC, MG. Motor City Machine Guns have given the ABC. Yeah, man. Motor City Machine Guns, for many reasons, especially headlining the shows right now, a great signing. I'm glad they stayed as well. And look, say what you will about the pieces coming and going. I think there are going to be some more coming in and some returning. But we got some people locked in that are pretty damn good that you could build a company around, now including Moose and Wentz as well. So really excited place to be. Looking forward to see what's going forward. Millard saying a heel MCMG. That would be interesting. A lot of ways to play it. I'm interested in seeing it. Lucha, why don't you sign us off?
Yeah, sir. Just want to real quick bring up TNA 2K. Like we mentioned, we're starting the Athena Cup. The matchups, we're doing the 1 versus 8 seeds and the 3 versus 6 seeds. So those matches will be Deonna versus Velvet, Gail versus Sue. We're going to have an interesting matchup of Taya Valkyrie versus Rosemary.
Ragnarok.
And Jordan Grace versus Tessa Blanchard.
Which I think will be the main event for the evening, if I'm not mistaken.
Which guys, you got to tune in. The Athena Cup is probably going to blow the Ryder Cup out the water.
Oh, man. I bought in. All right.
I bought in.
With that being said, guys, thank you for watching us. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for coming out. God bless and good night. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Bam, bam, bam.